Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is time for just a word from the Word. Our passage this morning comes from the book of John, John chapter 3, verses 1 through 3, and I'm reading from the King James Version. Here's what it says. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except God be with him. Let me just make a note here. Nicodemus didn't come bringing, well, at least starting with a question. Perhaps he had questions, but he didn't start with a question. He started with a compliment and recognizing that there was something supernatural about Jesus. Check Jesus' response in verse 3. I love it. Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. What? Have you ever stopped to consider what just happened there? My bestie, Pat, was teaching Bible study last night, and she read from John chapter 3, verses 1 through 3, and I opened up my Bible to follow along, and I kept my Bible open. I could not get away from this passage because I just kept thinking Nicodemus verbalize he didn't verbalize the depth of the question that was in his soul. And yet Jesus answered that unspoken question. Jesus was saying, Nick, please don't be offended that I call him Nick. Jesus was saying, Nick, what you're really seeking is the kingdom. What you really need is to become a part of my kingdom. Nicodemus was a ruler of the Jews. He had high status. He had high position. He had clout and influence. He had authority. He was a part of the in crowd. Jesus said, there's something in your heart that really wants to see the kingdom of God. So let me give you the answer to the question that you haven't verbalized. Unless you're born of water and of spirit, you can't even begin to see the kingdom that you're seeking. You know what that tells me? And this is your word from the word this morning. I've just not been able to get away from it since last night. There are times that we come into the presence of the Lord, and I don't know if this has happened to you. I can't guarantee that it's happened to you. I can say it's happened to me, so I'm assuming it's happened to others. I can put it that way. Where I've come into the presence of the Lord, and I've had just heaviness in my heart about whatever it might be. And my heart is going one way, or at least my words are going one way in prayer. And then all of a sudden, I could weep. Jesus steps in and he gets to the very heart of what you're not even saying. And he gives you an answer to what deep down in your soul you know that you want and desire, but you've either not been able to verbalize it or you've been scared to verbalize it. But the answer, let me make it plain. Let me make it easy. Those questions that you have hidden in your heart, that you're afraid to verbalize, or that you just can't quite find the words to verbalize because it hits you at such a deep level. Jesus is the answer to those questions. He's the answer to the unspoken questions of your heart. And it's okay. It's okay if you're afraid to verbalize those questions. It really is okay. And it's okay if you can't even find the words. You just know that there's something in your spirit that needs an answer. Something inside desperately needs an answer. This morning's word from the Word is one literal word: Jesus. He's the answer. He's the answer that you seek. He's the one. Man, He's the one that can fill that empty place. He's the one that can answer those deep questions. Soothe that ache in your heart. Jesus is the answer to those unspoken questions, to those unspoken needs. Seek Jesus, because that's where you're going to find the answers that you're seeking. This has been just a word from the Word. God bless you. Have a beautiful day, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow morning.